lunch. I'm really happy to be here, and I was driving in on this rainy August day, and I was thinking, I can't believe there's going to be a room full of people ready to hear about LiveGirl and teen girls' mental health, so you are my kind of people, so thank you so much for being here today, and I can't wait to get started. And I'm all set for the next slide. This is me. I'm Farrell Lindemann. I'm a licensed social worker, and I love to work with adolescents. That's what I studied for my master's. It's what I've done with my volunteer time, with my career. I've been at LiveGirl for about 5 years now, although the She Cares program is new. So I'm so excited you've given me a chance, so I have to tell you about She Cares. That's part of what I'll do today. And I live in Trumbull. I'm a mom of 3 kids that are in the Trumbull school system. And as it says here, I'm the She Cares program manager at LiveGirl. Okay, here's what we're gonna do today. And I plan to keep it moving. Hopefully it's fun and worth your time. I know most of you are familiar with LiveGirl already, and so I just want to give you an update of what have we been up to the last few years. And then I want to tell you all about She Cares, which is my program that I love, and it's all about coming alongside the girls, supporting their mental health at the same time that we're supporting them in leadership development. And then I'm most excited to tell you about this part. When I have an opportunity like this, I always feel a responsibility to represent the girls that I'm working with. You know, I'm meeting with hundreds of girls throughout the year, and I always ask them something to the effect of, you know, what do you wish you could say if they were standing here today? What would they want you to know about teen mental health? And so I'll let you know anecdotally what those girls have told me. And then I'll have some time at the end for questions. Sound good? All right. Okay, here's our big update. We are celebrating 10 years. LiveGirl was founded in 2014, and so that is 18,000 girls that LiveGirl has reached, and we also had an event that was the first of its kind for LiveGirl. We celebrated that 10 years, and we looked back at all the things we had done, but then it also gave us the refuel to keep going for the next 10 years. And in case you're not familiar with LiveGirl, the goal is to raise confident, inclusive leaders. And so now we are ready to do that for the next decade, just like we did the decade behind us. The why behind LiveGirl, Sherry West has probably told you this. I don't know if you know, but at the ages of 8 to 14, it's actually been proven that girls lose their confidence. And I quote that stat a lot for LiveGirl, but it's getting a little more personal every year because I have a 7-year-old daughter. And I would be devastated if in the upcoming year her spark and her brilliance and her confidence dimmed in any way. She's supposed to run the world. We do not want that to happen. And there's a lot of statistics up here that drive the why behind LiveGirl, but I often find that I prefer to share the individual stories, you know, all the girls I've met, because a statistic becomes real when it is the beautiful girl that's standing in front of you in her story. So I'll include those throughout as I talk today. And so, go ahead. The idea that the girls lose confidence, these are the exact ages that we have targeted our program. So it's middle school through college. In middle school, the idea is you lead yourself, like who are you, what makes you you, what are you passionate about? We have confidence clubs throughout Connecticut, so we have almost 30 different sites now. So boys and girls clubs, after school programs. In New Canaan, we're at the New Canaan Library and we're at Saks. I've gotten to go to both those confidence clubs. They are a great 8-week program for girls. In high school, the goal is to learn to lead others. And then college, our big program is She Works, and it's career training and it's paid internships. So we should talk about that later. And the idea is LiveGirl becomes the network for these amazing girls, connecting them to jobs at amazing, like Fortune 500 financial jobs, engineering jobs, plugging them in, and a lot of the interns get hired because they're really amazing. So that's one of our big programs is She Works. And then, you know, it's 18,000 girls that all these programs have reached in the last 10 years. And do you see that stat? So the girls tell us they feel more confident, and so the exact age they statistically lose confidence, the LiveGirl programs are changing that, which we are so excited about.
72% you had up?
Yeah, 72% of the girls that we serve are of color. Yeah. So now I get to tell you about She Cares. So the idea is all that programming, and you're welcome to ask me about any of it at the end. I know I went fast through that slide. The goal is leadership development for these girls. We want them on a leadership track. But at the same time that we're telling them, like, you're confident, you can do anything, like, you're amazing, we also know all the stats, right? That girls are really struggling with their mental health right now. I don't know if you've heard that, I'm sure you have. The CDC came out with a report, and girls in particular, 57% of them reported feelings of persistent hopelessness and sadness. And that was self-reported, and that's double the rate of what the boys reported. And so it really is teen girls are really struggling. And so at the same time that we're telling them they can be leaders, She Cares is coming to support their mental health as they do that. And so here are some of the ways that we do it. One of our big programs is the one-on-one virtual mentoring, and this started in the pandemic, so probably not long after you last saw Sherry West. You realize we need to be connecting with girls. So it's free, it's virtual, so it's on Zoom once a week. I have this awesome group of women who they're not mental health experts, but they're trained in some motivational interviewing. They show up online and they just are non-judgmental. They'll meet with that teen girl, hear about their friends, hear about what's going on in their life, or give them advice about their big test. And it's really beautiful to watch these mentoring partnerships. And it's innovative because I'm a social worker, but no one else at LiveGirl is a mental health expert. So how do we fill that gap? We know everyone's struggling to find services, and connection is the answer. So like connecting these girls makes a big difference for their mental health. Then just because it's about mental health doesn't mean it can't be fun. And so I'm all about trying to make programs that make this approachable and fun. So for example, we had a showing of Inside Out 2. We rented out the movie theater. The girls got to come for free. Did you get to see it? Some of you get to see Inside Out 2. So like 100 plus girls fill the theater. They've got their popcorn. Someone gets up and says, just so you know, it's okay to ask for help. We have free mentoring. Enjoy the movie. And that was their night. They got to do that. We'll have events at the Beardsley Zoo. We saw The Little Mermaid on opening night last year. And so we try to do events like that that are just like mental health awareness. The girls are getting used to hearing about mental health, even if it's just briefly. And again, that connection, they all get together. And then we have She Cares pop-ups, and that's me, and I'm with one of the confidence clubs at the New Canaan Library. And so I go around to the confidence clubs and I give a little like emotional intelligence workshop. So the idea is at an age where they're feeling these big feelings, to tell them it's all okay. Like, it is okay to feel that, to feel angry, to feel sad. What are some things we can do when that happens? And every group is different. Some of them want to talk about bullying, some want to talk about social media or friendship. And I love the days that I get to go and meet with the confidence clubs. And then mental lunch hour. So we are coming off of Camp LiveGirl, which is in July for 3 weeks. There are about 50 girls there each week, and it's everything I described, where there's these amazing speakers. They're getting something called Brave Leaders Academy, which our amazing program director, Shamir Holmes, runs. But then we also want to support their mental health while they're at camp. And so from start to finish, we prioritized that. So there was a training for the counselors in June, and I went to that training. So they got trained in some emotional intelligence, the idea that, hey, like, you might have a girl acting angry or not listening, and like, how can we be curious and empathetic about what's going on instead of just angry at this younger girl not listening? But then the counselors, who are high schoolers, filled out a little worksheet to make their own plan. What if you have big feelings during the day? Like, what's gonna get you through the work day? And they utilized that. They had their things in place, their breaks or whatever it was that helped them, that they could say, like, I need to follow the plan, and they would do that throughout the week. But then I had this amazing room. We were at St. Luke's campus, and I got to turn a classroom into a mental wellness room. So we had a couch with pillows, with weighted blankets, ice packs, affirmation cards, aromatherapy. It was this beautiful room. The girls felt so special, and I was there as the one-on-one mentor. So anyone who needed someone to talk to during the day, I would sit with them for a little bit. And it's always amazing and humbling to hear what's going on in their lives, and it really helps them participate at camp because they can have that minute to de-stress or to vent, or to have someone tell them, like, yeah, that makes sense that you're sad, that was a huge thing that happened, like, how do we help you now, like, enjoy camp, you know, like, both those things can be true. So this is a lot of what She Cares does, and it's made a huge difference in the lives of these girls, over 500 of them that we've gotten to reach with all this programming. So I want to tell you an example of She Cares working, and it was 2 summers ago at camp, and I showed up one day, and one of the girls, a counselor, so she's working there, was sitting and she was slumped. She had on sunglasses, like head down, like covering her eyes, and I could hear everyone talking, the other girls, the counselors. They were like, she is so rude, like this is so disrespectful. She wasn't talking, she wasn't leading, she wasn't helping. And I'm hearing all this, but I'm looking at her, and as an adult, I'm like, I'm seeing some signs of some distress here. So I got to sit next to her and just say, hi, like I'm Farrell, like we have mental lunch hour, which means I'm here for a little bit if you need someone to talk to. And she took me up on it. And it turns out that the day before, she had witnessed a major trauma and was sobbing behind her sunglasses, couldn't talk because her voice wasn't working, was, you know, it was all the things of like deep shock, sadness, mourning. And so I, with her permission, asked for her to talk to Shamir, who runs the camp, and she explained in her own words to Shamir what had happened. And Shamir got to say, oh my gosh, like you are so strong that you are here today. That's so responsible that you still came to work even though that happened. I can't believe it. But then also say, you know, when you have something traumatic happen, it's actually okay to take a day off of work. And so there was some leadership development there too. And did you hear the narrative shift? Like she went from irresponsible, had an attitude, rude, to being told like you are strong, like you are brave, you're resilient, here's how we help you get through this. And I will tell you more about her in a little bit because she, turns out that leadership development was very well invested. She's an incredible person, and LiveGirl got to be there for her on her hardest day. So this is the She Cares Circle, and I will link this back to the story that I just told you. This is a group of high schoolers who are passionate about mental health. They met on Zoom for 8 weeks, heard from therapists, public health experts, different organizations throughout Connecticut, and then their capstone was this amazing art installation. It's behind them that you may have seen. It was in the New Canaan Library for the month of May. And part of what they did is they all spoke and they shared, you know, what this meant to them. And this is Michaela, and she, for the first time, shared with people what had happened that summer and is a leader now in mental health, and through LiveGirl gets to put this on her resume. And she is an incredible person that is, this is now 2 years later, and she's doing so, so well. Okay, so here's the part where I want to be responsible, like I said, and tell you what the girls want me to tell you. So when I meet with them, like these like personal connections with girls, I always ask this question: what do you wish adults knew about teen mental health? And so maybe you have a teen that you love, that you care about, a child, a grandchild, or maybe just thinking about your community, you care a lot about the teens. This is the advice that they would want you to take. And so let's start with the first one, and it's the idea that they are under pressure. And if you just click it, you'll click, a quote will come up right under there for us. So an 11th grader from Trumbull said, I feel pressure to be this perfect student, especially having to choose what you want to do for college and SATs. I wish adults knew how daunting it can be and how scary it can be, and we do need some guidance in that. So I'm sure this is not news to you that kids are feeling the pressure. The middle schoolers are worrying about their test results. The high schoolers, every vacation is packed with college visits. They're worried about SATs, their resumes, and they're feeling the pressure. And this is in all towns. You know, Connecticut's, we're in New Canaan, but we're in Bridgeport, in Norwalk, and Stamford. All the kids are feeling this idea that they are under a lot of stress. And so I would say part of it is just validating that, like telling them, like, we see it, we believe you, that this is stressful. Part of it is, as you are scheduling their lives, schedule in mental health. And so packing things with investing in their future, like that's what LiveGirl believes in. We're doing that too. But also, can you add to their schedule a mental health day? The girls were saying we need mental health days from school. One girl said that to me on a day I had said no to a mental health day for my son. And I took that advice, and I have built in now they each get 1 to 2 mental health days a year, like no questions asked. And that makes a huge difference for them. And then when you look at their busy calendar, where is their time for rest? And where is there time for them to just let down and relax? That's something that they're all wanting. Click the next one. And I don't know if it would surprise you, but middle and high schoolers really want to connect with the adult that is their trusted adult in their life. They want to connect with you. Sometimes I'm hesitant because my parents want to talk about college a lot. I want to talk, I want to have conversations with them. I want to talk about my day, not college, and how my test went. Lighthearted stuff. And I was thinking how many parents would be so happy to hear the lighthearted stuff from their kids. I don't know if you know this, but this generation of teen girls, they're so cool. They have all these passions, they have all these hobbies, they have things that they're really knowledgeable about, and spending some time getting to know them and the lighthearted stuff is really worth it. It even helps sometimes to, like, the next event that you have with them, or the thing that you're doing together, the walk or the ice cream, to just in your mind put it off limits. Like, I'm not going to talk about anything stressful, because kids can scent that out immediately, right? If there's like an ulterior motive for the ice cream or the baseball or whatever, what if you just used it to connect with them? And that's what we want, right? We want to be connected with them in a meaningful way. So making sure that that is built into what we're offering our teens, just connection without the college stuff. And then finally, we're in New Canaan, so you all have ruler in the schools, right? You might know Mark Brackett and his idea of permission to feel, and it's a lot of what I tell the girls. It's okay to feel all the feelings, to have big feelings. Well, what they tell me is they're feeling the big feelings at school. They're at school for 7 hours a day. That's where their peer relationships are, it's where the stress is, it's where they're worried about a difficult class, or there's rumors going around. They are feeling all the range of emotions. And mental health is not being happy all the time. It's actually like, what do you do on a hard day? What do you do with those hard emotions? And how do you work through them? You can really only get to the other side by like acknowledging you have them. And so girls often get home and they need to process all the stuff they've been holding in at school all day. And so sometimes they might come home and not look happy, and that's okay. Like, is it okay that they have times that they don't feel happy? Can they have times where they're, you know, just letting down from the day and relaxing? And I think as I'm teaching them that it's okay to do that, I also want the partnership of the adults in their life to give them that space that, like, they can be angry sometimes, they can be sad sometimes, and they need their safe home as a place to do that. All right, well, thank you so much. Thank you for letting me share everything the girls have to say and letting me tell you a little bit about LiveGirl. And so now if there's anything I said, yeah, let's hear it.
Okay, I have 3 questions, or 1 question, 3 points.
Okay.
That have to do with things that are going on nationally right now.
Okay.
That you're an expert. I'd love to hear your opinion. Cell phones in schools, the drugging of our children, especially boys actually, percentages, and what do you think of then social media as a overall statement with TikTok as a subset specifically. So those three
Yeah.
national issues that are being discussed right now.
Yeah, I'll start with social media. I think that's the big one. I think as girls are learning social skills and interactions, a lot of it's happening on social media, and it's like social media isn't real. So it's really impacting the ability to like read a friendship even. Like, how do you know that you're still good, that like they're friends? And it's also, you can say things on social media that you wouldn't say to someone's face. So a lot of girls are experiencing either bullying, in terms of just think if you with no thought left a comment on a teen girl's, you know, if one teen left one on another teen's photo, that can be devastating to them. So that, and then also social media is, it's not real. So you're seeing other people's lives, and we as adults can kind of sift through that and be like, she's lying that she just goes on vacations all the time. But as a teen, that's really hard. If they're seeing everyone partying all the time or looking perfect all the time, they don't understand that there's filters, that there's all of this. It's not real. I don't know if I am an expert to speak to medication for teens, especially for teen boys, because my role with the girls has been more as a mentor than as a therapist. So that is what I'm trained in, but it's not what I've been working with them in, if that makes sense. And then what was the first
Cell
one?
phones in schools.
Cell phones in schools. At camp, we have all the girls put their cell phone in a bin, and so they are not distracted during the day, and it can be a relief. I've even had girls tell me their parents will take the cell phone away, and they're a little bit relieved. They get a break from, you have to keep up to that social media, what's happening all the time, and you can actually like be in the moment. Yeah, of course. Anyone else? Yeah, those are right. Yeah.
I'm just curious if you're seeing any improvements, hopefully improvements, since the depths of the pandemic in mental
Yes,
health.
actually, I have. I would say this summer at camp felt so much more hopeful than last summer. The girls are still talking about the pandemic. A lot of them lost people, or were in their room the whole time trying to do school while everyone else is working. Think about it. You're a working parent. Your poor kid is just in their room. But this year they seemed more social. They seemed like they understood the friendship cues a little better. Last year there was a lot of silent tables, and they'd be like, so-and-so hates me, and I'd be like, well, they didn't say anything. Like, what made you think that? We'd have to talk it all through. This year felt a lot, the interaction seemed a lot better, and a lot more hopeful, I would say. And also the girls know a lot about mental health. I can have really great conversations with them about things, about emotional intelligence, about what they're feeling, and they have a lot to share. It's really, really cool. Yeah. Yes.
What do you do about bullying? And I'm thinking of the bullies who probably have issues of their own. So
Yeah.
they're not necessarily happy people that enjoy bullying others. But do you get into trying to deal with preventing bullying and
Yes.
on both sides of that issue?
One thing we say at camp up front is it's a no mean girl zone, but then we have to follow through on that promise, right? Because it's girls that haven't experienced that before. And so they might not even realize like they are the person that is being that bully to others. And that's part of what I'm there for. So I can meet with, for example, the 3 girls that experienced it, but then I can meet with the person that bullied them and find out what's really going on. And there is a lot to be said for the trauma-informed approach, which is that like what is going on inside internally for that person, and were they triggered, helping explain to them like, yeah, you felt angry and like you had to protect yourself, but how old are you and how old were they? How do we decide how to do that differently next time? That can actually be really helpful. And I would say from week 1 of camp to week 3, there wasn't bullying by the end, and so we really did like that one-on-one really, really helps. Yeah, there's someone over here. Yes.
Just wanted to talk about leadership development for a minute.
Yeah.
One one way to learn about leadership is to actually do it. So I think about sports teams, for example, or a theater group where you might be a stage manager. So you're learning leadership by doing it. It sounds like your approach is more academic, if that's the right word. And if I'm right, I'm just wondering how you try to integrate sort of the experience of leading with the learning of leading.
Yeah, that's a great point. So middle school, I would say maybe it is more like academic activities, but then high school is leading others. So for example, all the camp counselors are high schoolers who have gone through camp, gone through the programming, and now we're saying like, you're ready to be a leader. The She Cares Circle, they were kind of my advisory board, that group of girls that was up here, and those were high school girls that they were told, okay, we're being supported. We were supported by the New Canaan Community Foundation, Silver Hill, and you get to do an art installation about mental health. Go. And they planned it together, they made it happen, and they also designed the event, and they chose to like each get up and speak. They knew what they wanted to say, and so that is the high school programming. Leadership League is the same thing. Each girl will pick what they're passionate about, and like they research it a little every week, and then they give a presentation on like, here's what we want to change at the end. And so that is a really good point, that you need to do it experientially. And then of course college, it's let's now apply this to our jobs. Let's get you to work. Yeah. Yes.
As a father of 3 daughters, my question is, what does success look like? What does a girl who comes out of the LiveGirl program, is smart, confident, knows how to deflect those pressure questions from her parents successfully, becomes a CEO, and a successful mom? I mean, how do you know that it's working, and what is the a hopeful outcome for these daughters?
Setting up a trust fund for their father.
Right. For example.
You're welcome. Yeah. That's a really good question, and it's something we ask as parents too, right? Like, what does success look like with our girls? For me, my girl and my 2 boys. I'd say first of all, we do surveying, so we'll survey before and after so that we can actually look at the quantitative results of how many girls, who was there, the qualitative, like their confidence increased by the end. And I think that it's a deep question, but I think a LiveGirl graduate would be someone who's confident in who they are, they're inclusive to other people, and they're able to lead where they would like to lead. Yeah.
Thanks so much for being here today,
Yeah.
Farrell. Could you share some of those stories with us? How old are some of the early alums, and what are they doing now?
That's a great one. So it was about 10 years ago, and at the event, we had some of them come up on stage and share. Some of them are employed by places like Boeing now because they went through all the programming, and then She Works. My stint of 5 years, I've gotten to even see that. I have a mentee that when she started, the first time we Zoomed, she hung up the Zoom call on me. And now, for the first time this summer, she was a counselor at camp. And so I have gotten to see her be the kid kind of in the hoodie in the corner at camp to being the one working so hard to make it a great experience for the other girls. And so a lot of it, she's someone who's done it all. Like, she's been in the confidence clubs, she's done She Cares, individual mentoring with me. She was in the She Cares circle, she's gone to camp, and now is a camp counselor. And so like that just keeps the leadership keeps growing. And Sherry would be another good person to ask about that. And on the website, we have 10 stories for 10 years, and so there are interviews with alums, so you can see like where they started, where they are now, and what they have to say about LiveGirl. They're amazing. Yeah, thank you.
Farrell, so your earlier slide, I think it was 18,000 girls you work with or LiveGirls work with in 10 years. Last year, if I remember, was 2,300 and something. So started small and it's grown. So
Yeah.
is it? I mean, there must be opportunity to. And this is not just the She Cares thing, but LiveGirl as an organization. I mean, is it going to continue to grow? Is it going to go from 2.3 to 2.5 to 2.7? I mean, I imagine that from what you say, the demand is there in Fairfield County, but do you have the capacity to grow?
Yes, we do. And the 10-year event actually really ensured that. It kind of invigorated us for our future. And even the staff is growing. It's a really small staff for those big numbers. And this year, about a year ago, I was hired as the She Cares program manager. We have a new development director now. And so it really is growing, and it's a really cool time to be a part of the nonprofit because you can just see all the potential growing more and more. And we've partnered now with Silver Hill, like I said, and so they're really helping me make this as great as it can be mental health wise. And I'm so excited to see where LiveGirl will go. Yeah.
Are there other LiveGirl programs around the country, or
So
places that are looking?
most of it's in Connecticut, and then anything we offer virtually is nationwide. So even the mentoring program, I'll occasionally get a girl from another state, and it works because you can connect them on Zoom, which is great.
Nice.
Farrell, thank you so
Yeah,
much
my
for doing
pleasure.